Welcome back from the break. This is Zephyr with my mod, Diablo 2 Distilled, and I just want to talk a little bit more in the beginning of videos about the mod and kind of the evolution of what's going on, because it's evolving quickly. I only have a little bit of time to do edits on a general basis, but those edits are kind of pre-planned, so a lot of them are kind of quick and dirty. And then as an aside, if you're interested in this mod or any of my previous videos, reviews, games, whatnot, please feel free to join the Discord. Come talk to me. Come hang out with other people that are interested in these kind of topics and games. So this mod dates back to summer of 2021. It is my third or fourth mod for Diablo 2, and it is probably the most playable mod of all of them. I've played the previous ones with friends on LAN, like back in like college apartments and stuff, and they were fun. You know, socketable rings or gloves or whatnot, some unique different kinds of gems and some edited runes and stuff. I even in the past I even had some custom gems and custom runes, but a lot of the stuff in those were pretty overpowered and not very interesting, probably in the long term. And I know a lot of other mods have done some of those things too, so furthermore, probably not too unique in the long term of it. This program here is Diablo 2 Excel, and this is, I find comfort in this blue window. It is a basic Excel spreadsheet. It allows us to edit numbers and ID codes and stuff like that, and some auto effects, different things like that, sound effects, all sorts of stuff, damage, where things are counted in different things here. A lot of stuff. So Diablo 2 was effectively just a series of spreadsheets. These are compiled down into binaries and then packed up in what were called MPQs, which is just Blizzard's really old now, and probably, I'm pretty sure it's abandoned as of like StarCraft 2. MPQs were their kind of zip file for their games. So what I've been doing here is I've been going through, I mentioned it last video, that I'm going through and I'm kind of nerfing and adjusting numbers. So one of the big things is, and some of these numbers are probably really bad, and I'll show you why. But like I said, I did these quick and dirty. I kind of just started on the armors themselves here, line 9 here, last time. And so I hadn't really gotten very far. So I'd gotten to like ring mail, and then I made some changes in my decisions and stuff like that. So basically speaking, the idea is that there is some kind of ratio between required strength, level, and then this is an unused column. Armor was supposed to absorb damage in some original concept in like the alpha. And so this is an unused column. I'm using 1 for light armor, 2 for medium armor, and 3 for heavy armor. This is just a guide for me. It is completely unused by the game. So we can see stuff like this. The hat is 2 to 5. Hats or helmets in the mod are going to be your secondary equipment slot that you are most concerned about for armor. And a reminder or note to anyone that hasn't heard this, in my mod, armor protects you from everything. So if it's a fireball hitting your chest, the chest plate is going to take it up. It's going to make it miss. So it's still an all or nothing like the original game, but missiles now respect attack rating and armor class in the roles of the game, the RNG of the game here. And because I've changed the formula, I needed to soften a lot of these numbers quite heavily. They're way too high. Enemies can't hit me anymore. And I do need to adjust enemies as well, probably eventually. But I need to figure out a baseline, and my armor is going to be the baseline. So you'll notice that like hats are kind of the same as the base game. I think in the base game they're like 1 to 4 instead of 2 to 5, but you know, something like that. And you'll get just a little bit of armor every kind of step up here. And then great helms, they don't come into play until level 24, so they're kind of big and they require a lot of strength. And the idea that helmets are the second most important thing is your head is kind of important. And helmets in the base game gave something around 17.5% of your total armor, ignoring that you were wearing a shield or anything like that. And that's comparing a bunch of different sets because helmets, gloves, boots, they don't line up with the amount of torsos or chest pieces that exist in the game. So this is kind of like averaging a bunch of numbers out. And then normal is less granular, so it has some different numbers as well. But about 17.5% was seen pretty commonly in my numbers from about a year and a half ago when I started calculating some of that. And then I abandoned the mod for a good long while. So your Great Helm, it's going to give you up to 31 armor, and it's going to require 63 strength. And kind of in that same spectrum, a plate mail in that same timeline, 24 and whatnot, it's 53 to 55. Heavier armors have a narrower gap between their numbers, averaging 2. So 53, 54, 55. You have 3 numbers, but it's a gap of 2, so to say. So when you pick up a heavy armor, it's going to be good. It's not going to be big, broad, random numbers, and it's going to have higher durability. Now, durability has been massively nerfed in my mod, so you'll notice that too. Let's pump that up to like 18, because we've got 3 16s in a row, and I don't like that. Save that real quick. Anyways. So you got like quilted armor is now a little bit weaker, and you got leather armor is, just a little bit stronger. But you'll notice that the difference between quilted armor and leather armor, 4 extra armor doesn't sound like a lot if you're used to playing Diablo 2, but if you've ever played Diablo 1, my math isn't identical to Diablo 1, but it feels a little bit more like Diablo 1. So that extra 4 armor for 14 strength, if you've got the 14th strength, that's good. And you can get that from items too. Same thing here. You're just going up a little bit. And hard leather is still considered a light armor here. And it's got a little bit more durability. So armor can break now quite readily if you're not paying attention, or if you get mobbed by a bunch of enemies. And as a note, durability goes down when you get missed. So the more armor you have, you can go up to 75% miss rate, so to say. And the idea is that the armor is absorbing the impact of those hits. Your vital points are covered, and vitality gives you more health. And so your health is kind of your physical endurance within fighting, that kind of thing. But with any kind of invulnerability, because it's all or nothing here, there should be a cost. And for me, the idea is that the cost is the durability of the item. So you're transitioning the health pool away from your health and towards the armor's durability or health pool, so to say. So you'll see that a lot of durabilities are really low, and the maximum here is 20. And that even might be too high for what my purposes are. But so as you go up with strength, you're not just gaining defense, you're also gaining durability. And even some of the higher level armors here, not chainmail, breastplate. Breastplate is a light armor both in the mod and in vanilla. And it comes out really late, and it's meant to be kind of an upgrade or a stopgap to some of the other items, but it also outpaces them really hard in vanilla. So in vanilla, it's like chainmail goes to, let's see here. I have this open still. I don't think so. I don't have it open. I'm not going to look it up. Anyways, breastplate goes up to like 68 armor in vanilla, and like chainmail goes up to kind of similar values. And so you've got this situation where this is way less strength than something like these, and these have been changed. It was like 44 and 48 or vice versa. And so you got to breastplate, which was relatively quick to find in Act 2. Because most enemies in Act 2 are like between like 13 and 20. So as you get through Act 2, even like a basic elite or champion or something is going to have like +2, +3 levels to their drop table and to their monster level and stuff like that. And so now this lies as a light armor that is an upgrade to more like this heavy leather. It does require more strength than, say, the studded leather, and therefore also gives more armor. It is also much higher level than either of those 8 levels. So you're waiting 8 levels of not putting points into strength for a moderately powerful armor piece of armor here. And then it's got 12 durability, so it's pretty good for its timeline. Then you get down here, whereas the light plate, again, that should be way lower. We're going to do something like 10 or 12. Yeah. Real-time, messy, random number changes here. So the light plate comes into play again. You've got the breastplate going to 32. This comes out at level 28. That's a 10 level difference. So it gets approximately 5 armor from the max here and goes to 42. It costs 41 strength. So you're still going to have to eventually upgrade your strength to wear it. But it is technically a light armor in that context. But then you've got stuff like this, 36, 32, and 28 here. So comparing level 28 to level 28, you've got, this is 59 armor minimum and 70 strength. So you can see that while it's not like a doubling of armor, this is definitely going to give you way more bang for your buck. And then similarly, this kind of sits, this is a level, this is a medium armor. It's a level 34, but it is basically as good as the plate mail for half the, or not half, 10 level less armor. I can't talk today. 10 less strength. 10 less strength on the armor. So you get something like this. So you've got these kind of stop gaps. If you wait a lot of levels, you can get some stuff here. And that's probably, this is probably too weak, honestly. It probably should be a little higher because it's way, way late. But it shouldn't be much higher. Like maybe it could be 56 to 58 or something, or 50. Yeah, that's probably about right. Gothic plate. So it probably should compete with the Gothic plate to some degree here. Again, you're going to have to wait like 6 levels to get it. So we'll just do something like 56 to 59. It's a medium armor, so it should have a wider gap. So it's a gap of 3, which means 4 possible values there. Moving on, though, I'm just comparing here. So like light plate has less durability, even though it has high armor. And then you've got something like the mask. Again, it's got really low durability, like a hat. But it is... you know, it's pretty competitive here. It comes out at level 18, so it doesn't quite beat a full helm, but it could. It could beat a full helm. It's only 2 levels higher. It's 23 strength, but it's got a huge gap here of 4. So like you could roll a really low one, and you could roll a really high one. Whereas if you're going for the Great Helm, you've got much better durability and a much tighter defense gap there. Going down here, previously I removed armor from shields. I am putting it back on, at least for the moment. Shields don't have any durability. They are free in this sense. I just don't care right now with that. I'm in the process of trying to figure out some things with shields. So, but they have no durability. They now give extremely low values of armor. So they also have their blocks increased. So this is normally 0, and now it's 10. And this was normally 5, and now it's 12. And this was normally like 12, and now it's 15. And I think this was 24, and this was like 17 or something. So they're both 24 now. You still need a lot of strength to use a shield. And these lower 2 shields have 15% block speed attached to them. This is thematic to something like Salt and Sanctuary or Dark Souls, where bucklers have a quicker parry or a longer parry window, a more forgiving parry timing. And so that's just kind of a reference to that. But also just in general, I'd like to increase the block rate of most shields. A lot of player classes need a massive amount of block speed to get anywhere with their shields. And I kind of disagree with that, especially because I'm trying to remove the actual armor class value, the AC or defense off these shields. Now, your tower shields, they're going to have a higher block chance, and they're going to have a higher armor value here. But this is much smaller than it used to be. I think it's closer to like half or maybe a little less than half of the original values. And of course, this Gothic shield, it comes out at level 30, and that's probably actually way too high, but we can fix that. You can put this at like 16 and maybe put this at 22 is probably fine, but we'll just do 21. That's a 5-level gap. That's a 6-level gap. Or a 4-level gap, 5-level gap. Let's put this at like, well, I don't know. That's not the right number. 27. Just reduce it by 3 there. So the mod is meant to have progression. In some ways, it's more spread out. Like the early game, it might be a little more spread out here. And then as the mid game kind of comes up, it might be a little more crunched. And the idea is that you're leveling up slower. You need some kind of progression and alternating. Like this is an odd number. This is an even number. So like 18 and 16. You're going to be finding different pieces of gear at different levels. And the original designers did that too. I'm just kind of changing some numbers around here. Same thing with gloves. Gloves are like boots. Where's the boots? There's the boots. They start on line 34 here. So they are literally the same numbers, and they provide the same kinds of protection. They probably should be closer to similar strength values. We'll fix that in another timeline. Boots do have more durability, slightly. Not durability, higher level, I guess. So why is leather boots a level 3? Let's change that. I don't like that at all. Let's just put it to 1. That's weird. Because you want to kind of get your early items, fill it in. They're probably not going to be magical. And then you're going to find your magical items, and you're going to kind of fill those in. And then you're going to kind of find your next tier about 5 levels in, 5 extra levels in, and stuff like that. I'll try to be briefer in future updates, by the way. But I'm just trying to cover some like big changes here. Our current character is not going to have these changes in effect until we actually swap our gear out. And so there might be some encouragement for me to actually like sacrifice my gear and swap it out a bit. So, and then belts, they're indestructible and they have no defense. They act more as like a 4th ring slot. So you got 2 rings and an amulet and a belt, which is 4 accessories. You've got a helmet, an armor, a glove, and a boot, which is 4 armor pieces. You've got your left hand, which is your, potentially your shield or your offhand. And you got your right hand, which is your primary weapon. And of course, unless you're left-handed, but the vast majority, like 89% of people are right-handed. So I think there is a handedness to the actual game, and they checked the handedness to some degree, but you can equip things backwards in the actual menu. So that aside, we've also got some other things down here. I'm going to ignore the war hat. I haven't touched that, so don't freak out about that being super high. You've got stuff like the spike shield. I increased the spike shield's damage. I didn't touch its blocker level, but its damage is way over here somewhere. There it is. I passed it. Right here. So the smite damage on this was like, I don't remember what it was. It was something like 8 to 18. It was like a huge spread, and I don't like huge spreads. Diablo 1 actually, as you progressed through the game, removed the spread because strength and dexterity increased your base damage by flat numbers. So your spread was entirely governed by your weapon. So if you had like a high level dagger or something like 1 to 9 damage, you kept that spread of like 1 to 9, but it might be 11 to 19 or 21 to, you get the idea. In Diablo 2, that spread is maintained as a percentage, and so I am also maintaining it as a percentage. I talked about that with my gems in the previous video, where fire damage and gems are the only thing that have really been touched on this, but fire damage is going to be like a 3 to 4 ratio, where the minimum damage is 75% of the maximum damage, and lightning damage is more damage than fire, but it's also got a like a 1/6 ratio, 1 to 6 ratio of min to max. And so lightning damage is going to be buffed in the mod overall, but it now also has to hit too. So things like chain lightning, which hit multiple times, are valuable if you don't have a high attack rating. And then staves also have a built-in auto mod of plus attack rating, so that you don't have to worry about it if you're using a staff. You don't have to worry about it as much if you're using a staff. So moving on from this horrible blue screen, we will jump to this, which is just a visualization. And I'm not sure that this is perfect here. And this is, of course, subject to change, as is a lot of stuff in the mod. This is just a visualization of the armors and how I've kind of changed them up. So the first line is light armors, the second line is medium armors, and the third line is heavy armors. And so some of these are intentionally lined up so that you have this progression here where, you know, this is your first armor, this is probably your second armor, this is probably your third armor. But if you're like a barbarian or a paladin or something, and you're really looking to be tankier, then you need a heavy armor very early. So instead of this being like, I think it's like level 14 originally, somewhere around here, I've moved all of this kind of, maybe it's not level 14, maybe it's like level 12. I think this was like level 9, this was like level 12, something like that. So they're both level 10. They both come out at the same time. So you might find this, you might find that. And if you have the strength to wear this, this is, what was it? That's the wrong file. Studded leather is 27 required strength. So unless you're like a barbarian or a paladin that's going heavy into strength, maybe you're a druid that's going heavy into strength, 27 strength at level 10 is hefty. And in the mod, you no longer gain health or mana per level. So your stats are going to be spread pretty thin comparatively. You're going to be relying on gear for a lot of your strength, your dexterity, your vitality, and that kind of stuff to begin with. And it is higher, but now you have kind of some of these split decision opportunities. And then you'll see that these are grouped. So a lot of these groupings are Blizzard's groupings, and I've just kind of slightly modified them. So you've got these 3 here, then you've got these 3 here. You get a light armor here, which is level 18. And this used to actually like outpace all 4 of these, basically. It no longer outpaces all 4 of them. It just kind of outpaces like 2 of them, kind of. And while this says 16, these are really like closer to like 15, something like that. I need to change the chart. It's not exactly even here. I mean, it is, but there's just not a lot of spacing to show off the levels very cleanly. Like this goes up by 5, and then everything else is up by 4. So you get your breastplate, and that's kind of your upgrade for this, but this costs more strength than this. But you've got, 8 levels to get 30 strength, and this is like 17, and this is like 27. So you might not have 27 at level 10, but you might have 30 at level 18. But if you have something like 48, you could be wearing this heavy armor right here. So this is 48 strength. This is 40 strength. So this is 8 strength more than that. And this grants like, I think it's like close to almost 9 extra armor or something. Which again, it doesn't sound like much, but it is hopefully enough to make the difference. Every armor negates half, no, 2 attack rating. It takes 2 attack rating to cancel an armor a value. So, an extra 9 armor means the opponent has to have an extra 18 attack rating. Level is not a factor, and it is a very soft formula compared to the original game. Previously, you'd need like 19 to get the 95% hit chance. And then you'll see again, these are kind of staggered here, and we go through this actually quad pattern here. As you get kind of here, around 35, 36, you're probably beating the game, maybe even 34 on normal. But you're going to start seeing kind of these high-level armors here. So this is an upgrade to that. It beats out probably both of these, but it's going to have like a spacing of 3 or 4. This is going to have a spacing of like 5 or 6 for its armor value. And then these come into play probably like 2 to 4 levels sooner than vanilla. So as we get to the end of the game of normal, you've got this at level 28, this at level 18, and this at 38. So this is your next, so to say, stopgap to, catch up. And this is going to beat out probably these 2 armors, or at least equivocate them. Equivocate? It's a weird word. That's probably not the right word I'm trying to say. I'm terrible with words, so there you go. Especially when I'm rambling like this. This is going to equal on its kind of high end, probably something similar to this on its high end, but notice it is 10 levels higher. So are you going to wait 10 levels to equip something larger? In the context of like a single solo self-found playstyle, you're probably not. You're going to either kind of dedicate to this lower strength value, or you're going to dedicate to the higher strength value. So like if you're a high strength person and you find this armor, maybe it's better than that, maybe it's not, but it's going to have this huge like band, 5, 6 armor difference. So yeah, on the high end, it might beat this, but on the low end, it might not at all come close to beating it. Because this could be, I don't remember the numbers, but maybe that's, 48 armor, and this is like, 46 to 49, or 45 to 50, something like that. So, okay. Yeah, that's another like 30-minute intro. Again, there'll be a little jump here. So if we jump over to the actual game here, we've got my character, and we've got armor that is way too high, and more armor that's way too high. Let's see what Ormus has for us. He has some masks. So you can see like this bone shield only has 7 defense. That's way lower than the past, and it requires 25 strength. But its chance to block is huge, right? That's a huge chance to block. We'll go over here and maybe sell our armor. Or at least sell the bigger pieces of armor. Because these aren't like super different. What do we got here? Okay, I just find this funny. We're going to sell our armor. Finds like the best armor possible. So you can see like this is 33 defense. This is 33 defense. This requires 40 strength. That requires 30. But this has a required level of 22, and that has a required level of 6. That is from the modifier on it, not from the actual item. So there's that. And the great helms are, really expensive, strength-wise at least. So we could buy this, put that there, sell this. We've got a magic fine belt. We could do something else there with that, but hey, look, it's the same belt. Like literally the same belt. A lot of these belts suck. It's kind of funny. Life regen is much better than it used to be in the mod. but you're kind of meant to rely on it. So we need to go to the sewers. And what do we got in our stash here? Just put that there. Can't wear it right away. He can't wear it until he levels up. So we're fine. We want to go to the Cross Bazaar. So luckily we know right where things are. That's exploding arrow. I wanted fire arrow. I haven't done much else with the mod. Me swear I did the right hotkey for that, but he did not get the potion. Anyways. Whoa. A random rare that's also ethereal. That's also broken. Like, it's negative 38 damage. It's literally kind of broken. There are no broken items in my mod. They use the Diablo 1 styled formula of just being well, broken by affixes instead of broken by just being broken white items. It's not a low quality item. It is an enchanted weapon that sucks. I find that more interesting though, personally. Oh, they're extra fast. Part of me wants him to die because I'm over reliant on him. Another rare. Oops. That's way too much mana. We got some superior heavy boots. What are they? 7. Yeah, no, that's that. I need to fix superiors. They're pretty bad. I have chance to fear things. An Aaron shield. Yeah, I didn't touch that one. I didn't touch the class specific items. The run after this will potentially be a paladin, but I'm gonna have to do a lot of work on some of their stuff. Because their stuff is either broken or broken the other way. Because paladins were weird. Because you could get like double your armor just from a paladin shield, but like regular shields didn't quite come close to that. And then, ooh, splint mail. Socket. Can't wear it though. Let's see. What are their chances to hit me now? If I can hit the right button, that'd be great. They're still not hitting me. That's an issue of their attack rating. In the future, it's a long stretch goal, and it's probably coming up on possible once I figure out how to kind of better mod stuff, there's a tool called D2 template, which allows me to do more of a plugin instead of just raw assembly manipulations. And if I can take the time to kind of learn that, I should be able to use C or C++ to actually write some real code instead of slack space assembly hex edits. And that will allow me to not only be able to kind of share the mod probably cleaner as well, but it's trapped, run away. But it'll allow me to do quite a bit more. I can rewrite entire functions basically, which should be interesting. Still takes quite a bit of knowledge that I'll have to learn in the context of like the actual how Diablo 2 works. You just can't, rewrite code and then pretend, oh, hey, I knew everything that was going on here. Because you probably didn't. There's probably all sorts of stuff in there. Like right now, I know I've flipped durability on weapons and armor. So weapons take durability loss when you miss, because it's the idea is you're hitting their armor. I'd like weapons to take durability loss always when they're used, so that it's not it's not balanced around missing or hitting. Whereas an armor, I think, is more meaningful to. Man, these guys are fast. I haven't done anything with the skills lately. Been working on some projects. I am going to be out of town for a while, so some of the videos that are posted are not going to be Ruined Temple? No, sewers. I'm not even remembering where I'm going here. The sewers. There we go. I hate the sewers. They're like the worst. Oh, rain. Can't see it because the other text is over top of it. Life stolen per hit. That's actually really good. The regen formula that I'm using is 1% of your max health per second. It's probably too much, and I will probably reduce it to half that. But the idea is that you should have some kind of reward for leveling up your health, since stamina and other things are being removed. The poise system, for example, I started talking about that. With code edits, I should be able to, old code edits or new code edits, I should be able to kind of modify how stagger works a little bit. But it'll be a lot easier to do it with the template system, the DLL plugin thing. You'll notice it's super dark in here because I've actually reduced the vision on arrows and stuff. So like, you'll notice that it's like really dark even when I shoot an arrow. It used to just like light up the entire room. Now it does not. That same thing with like fireballs and stuff. So yeah, you're shooting a fireball, but you're still blind. Too bad. Something over here in the darkness. And I just like the idea of Diablo being a little bit more of a roguelike, old school rogue, or new school roguelike, where dying is meaningful. Even if you're not playing hardcore, dying should be completely meaningful, and it's not. There's an 8 life regen. Nice. This bar right here, you can't go negative on the bar apparently, because I died like 15 times to Duriel and I never went negative. That's not where I want to go. Let's go this way. Ooh, a key. But I'm really excited about like Path of Exile. I've talked about before. I know I repeat myself a bit. These videos are long and can't always perfectly remember what I talk about, especially with everything constantly changing a little bit. So I like to talk about all the different mechanics. But Path of Exile 2 is doing a more Dark Souls style poise system. I really appreciate this. I hope it feels good. I'm not a huge Path of Exile guy, but Path of Exile 2 really intrigues me. I just don't know if it'll still be for me. I may end up doing some streams or pre-records either way of Path of Exile, just because it is Diablo-like, and I am really excited about it. They are doing plated belt. Let's see here. Lightning resist. Well, that might actually be good if I get some lightning enemies. They're doing a poise system where poise kind of builds up. So you can't just stand still and get hit by a million enemies and have nothing happen. You still eventually get staggered even by smaller hits. And I don't know that I can do quite that. That would require to do kind of a lot with how Diablo 2 works and stuff. I'm not sure how like memory addressing would work for some of the editing there, but like adding an entire extra value to the player character to extract that at at runtime or whatever is I have no idea how that works. All in due time, I might find it out. But where am I going? I don't remember the maps on this game, though. That's the issue. I used to know a lot of the maps, especially the ones that I would do like boss runs on back in the BNet days when I played this game. But anyways, so one of the things I want to do is I want to desynchronize, so to say, separate the health pool from the stun chance. And so in default of Diablo 2, this poison isn't even strong enough to stop my healing, which is not really intended there. Is kind of desynchronize these two, unrelate them, make them independent, however you want to phrase that. And make it so that everything has a chance to stagger you as long as it deals damage. Scimitar, huh? I like that it's red, but it's weird that it's red there and not here. Paladin levels. Scimitars can get paladin levels. I don't recall that. -1 strength, -1 to 9 dexterity, 7 attack rating, 5% mana stolen per hit, and enhanced damage. Well, I will say that this is probably an actually decent weapon if you're going like a spellcaster on the paladin. Let's do fire arrow. But yeah, just having it be kind of some multiple checks instead of a single check. So in the base game, I think it's like 1/5 or 1/8 damage triggers a hit recovery if it's melee damage. And then you need like way higher damage, like 1/5 or 1/6 for just like double or something. But it's higher for range damage to stagger you. And I think that makes sense, that you're not just going to get staggered constantly by arrows. But if you're getting hit by like 20 arrows in a given moment, you should probably get staggered because, that's just not feasible to probably dodge or deal with. And even if you're blocking it, it probably should put you in block lock because, well, you're basically just hiding behind your shield at that point. And I need to probably do some research on how block lock works, because it puts you into the stagger state, and it might restrict you from... holy cow. Holy cow. Let's not do this. No, 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 no. Whew. That was a group of dudes. They were sleeping on the ceiling. I can't identify that. But yeah, you see that defense is like only 4. Small shield. No kidding. And it's probably a good time to go to town. Let's sell some stuff. So much junk in my inventory. We did it. We got to the next floor of the sewers. Burn. I want the gold. I want the gold. I need to massively reduce the amount of stuff that falls out of stuff. Because he's in the water, I can't hit him with the fire damage. That's funny. Let's go this way. Find the flail and Travancore. Beware of the council. So I'm thinking, like, right now, there is a stagger based on damage dealt. I would probably standardize the damage dealt thing, so that doesn't matter if it's melee or ranged. That definitely goes contradictory to the original game. But this armor stand, stair stand. Let's grab this. Just a little bit more. There we go. All right. Armor stand. Chest. Ooh, a long battle bow. Oh, it's so big. Why you gotta be so big? Ah. Don't have the space. Well, it's ethereal, I can tell you that much. $125. That feels really high. Oh my goodness. Requirements minus 20%. Oh, because it's ethereal. So it's got the extra 50% bonus there. 50% multiplier bonus. Requirements minus 20, -2 to spirit, cold resist, fire resist, faster hit recovery. I mean, can I really say no to this? Durability 28. So I did double durability instead of half durability on ethereal items. I think I'm probably going to reduce that to normal durability on ethereal items. Just make them average. Yeah, they can't be repaired, but some of the aspects of the original game, at least Diablo 1, would have been the idea that, you know, do I repair this or do I just wear something else? You know, this kind of survival mindset. And I'm not saying that everyone played that way, but kind of just how I viewed aspects of it. The diffused Fane. Ooh, like gauntlets. And there are bonuses, of course, to wearing ethereal items. But anyways, that multiplier specifically. Sure, we'll just throw these away. Not sure if this is where I want to be. There's like a book. I don't think this is the right one. There's a book like Lan Eason's Tome. And you turn it in, you get 5 stat points. And Ethrune. These are broken. Negative 25% target. I thought I fixed the mana thing. I was definitely messing around with some of those, but I guess not. Yeah, this is not the right location. I thought it was, but at least it was a small area and I got some items off of it. Another half freeze duration. But going back to what I would probably consider more important. Let's see, what's our attack rating? Chance to hit 70, 76. Let's pump that up a little bit. We got what, 13 attack rating off of that skill. That's pretty good. Poise damage, I think, should be something like, if you get hit by X damage, you are staggered always. And then if you... oh, I didn't look at that bow. I rebound my keys a long time ago, and I've just never memorized what they were. Let's see here. 5 to 22. That's a short battle bow. This is a long battle bow. So these are slower. The long versus the short. I standardized attack speeds. So this is faster and this is slower. And yeah. Slower should probably have a lot more damage base, but I think you know, if you take a certain amount of damage, let's say you take I don't know, 15% of your health. I don't care if it's an arrow or a fireball or, you know, a knife to the back. You're gonna probably pay attention to that. Can't remember what the number was in Warcraft 3, but there was like a damage pop-up that would occur. It wasn't a critical strike, but it looked really similar to a critical strike. I'd have to look it up. And I know Dota kept it for a long time as well, and it still confused players, of course. And I think something like that makes sense to be like a limiting factor. If you take a certain chunk of damage, you know, and I see life as a video game mechanic. I see life as like, you're not losing a limb, you're just taking a big punch to the face, you know, and you know, I know there's like tabletop stuff where you can like lose a limb and then like you can't use certain attacks because whatever. But the idea here would be that your health is more or less a stamina bar for how much you can endure in combat. You know, and somehow you're magically capable of healing crazy wounds and just deal with it. upper crust. Oh, hi. How you doing? Right by the door. Puppy garden a bit. I would kind of like Azrael to die. I don't know. Not a big fan of him tanking for me right now. There. No more crutches. And no more potions for you, sir. Ooh, a teleporting enemy. Yeah, let's talk about that. Teleporting enemies are cool. On top of that, I think every hit should have a chance to do some form of stagger. Just just catching you off guard. Even if this is gonna sound stupid, but like even if you're, say, some kind of like demonic or angelic being, you get hit by a gun, and it's a powerful enough blast, it's gonna get your attention. You might stagger. You're not taking damage, but might get your attention at least, right? You're like, hey, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that to my neck or face or whatever? Great axe. I just want to see how much damage it does. Just want to see how much damage it does, but it's too big. Here, let's get rid of this thing. Yeah, that thing should have a lot higher minimum damage, in my opinion. Gotten a reliquary. Whew. And then, top it off, just have some other math in there, probably something simple. I like games where the math, even if the math isn't simple, so to say, the explanation of the math is simple. Whoa, there we go. Apparently the fire damage wasn't hitting him. Like, for example, Dark Souls, because I'm familiar with it. If you don't do enough minimum or a certain amount of damage or whatever, you oh my goodness. Stop poisoning me, run away. Spider Magus. It can cast spells. I don't think I ever noticed the name on that before. I thought this was where the... Okay. Reliquary with no books. Got it. No books, no information, no secrets. So yeah, probably something like a 10 or 15% chance on any hit. Probably sounds good. You don't want to get it too high. You don't want to have it too low. It could have a couple thresholds. Dark Souls damage system, well, not a stagger system here, but Dark Souls damage system is that if you don't meet a minimum percentage, not percentage, but a minimum value of don't kill me, please. If you don't hit a minimum value of damage, your damage is like halved or quartered. It's just a massive amount of damage reduction. And so if like if a boss or something has a 250 defense to bladed damage, then you need to do like 201 damage as bladed. Otherwise, the damage is cut by a secondary formula, and they just use a secondary formula entirely in Dark Souls 1. And then think like Elden Ring does something slightly different where you kind of have like a flat damage reduction to things as well as like an actual percentage reduction, both. But they're easy to explain. I don't need to know the math behind them to explain, hey, if you don't meet this threshold, then you're going to do reduced damage. And what's the threshold? Well, it's a simple number. What's the number? Well, it's my damage compared to their defense. Oh, okay. It's kind of like my armor formula here. What is the armor formula? Well, in the original game, it's a diminishing returns formula. That's a squared value of your attack rating versus their defense times your attacker level, compared to the defender level, and they multiply against each other, creating like a square value system. And so if you have neither high level or high attack rating, you have like 5% chance to hit. It's absolutely terrible. I hate it. Which is why I changed it. And then, as important as that formula can seem to be, then of course it literally didn't matter to mages or spellcasters of any sort. After all that information, you just throw it out for like half the players of the game, and then people wondered why everyone played a mage. I think math can be complex. Like my armor formula, it's simple, but like I'd have to show it to you probably for the average user to care or understand it. And same thing with like Dark Souls or whatever. I was just gonna like use that like immediately, but the disused reliquary. Well, which reliquary is it? Let's put up a safety talent portal. There we go. We don't have mana. We don't have a whole lot of potions. I'm using a lot of mana potions. There should be a waypoint on the left side here. Ah, poison. Or not poison, slow. I think I short-circuited there. I was poisoned, now I'm slowed. There we go. Waypoint. Good day. Let's, if that's still there. So like, it's still a shield, right? Enhanced defense doesn't need to be spawning on shields, but I mean, it can, but it's not really my goal for shields to have enhanced defense in their pool. I just haven't removed it yet, which is why I actually put small amounts of defense on them, because if they don't have defense and you're wearing a shield, it will give you global percentage defense, and that's definitely not what I'm intending. But stuff like this, magic damage reduced by 6, you're still getting the stats of the affixes on the shields. Like, there's still stuff like that. 6 mana, 5 life, freeze duration, don't need the heart. Find the Blackened Temple. Wasn't really planning on doing like every quest here, but I would like to activate the quests here. Pretty sure it's this guy. Okay, got right to the point. Search the 6 temples in the bazaar, upper crossed and the causeway for Lamb Easton's Tone. Oh yeah, is it random? It's been so long since I've done that quest. I usually skipped that quest and would like come back to it like after the fact. I do like the fact that it's like permanent progression. I really like permanent progression on stuff like this. Like, it's still really fun to have. It's still really fun to like have a quest that gives you like a magical ring or whatnot. But it's really hard to sometimes have quests give you things that you really want. There you go, defense 5. Really weak there. Oh, I didn't buy any potions. Whoops. And you're probably fire resistant, huh? You can't hit me. This is problematic. How do you not hit me? I upgraded attack rating. And I decreased armor. Oh, yes. This is something else I want to talk about. I was talking about this to somebody that has been watching the channel as well. Fellow modder. And one of the things is I want to actually remove... We got a bunch of cold duration effects. Kill the High Council. Let's just do that first. Come here, High Council. I'd like you to stay over there. Ow, I got knocked back? Oh boy. Oh boy. Chain boots, Warhammer. See, my health it's still regenerating, but it's really slow. It probably shouldn't be regenerating while I'm poisoned here. At least not that quickly. But yeah, I was talking to someone about one of y'all about the idea of cold damage and poison damage and how there's like this. It's another like kind of like a square factor, like a multiplicative, super crazy, unfair value that if you have cold length or duration, you I need to move stuff around. Tetris. Oh, can I wear that? No. I need 63 strength. That's a lot. A lot of strength. Let's sell that. Let's identify this. -7 spirit. Gross. Maximum stamina. I mean, I guess that's good. It's 25%. If you really like your stamina. Worth selling, I suppose. That's not what I wanted to buy. I want to buy these, but I don't want to buy all of them. I want to buy all of these. Oh, and that's not what I meant it to do. There we go. Somebody's stealing my mana. No, it's just that expensive. Multiplicative effects. I like some multiplicative effects, but I'm very wary of them generally because of well, I guess a bunch of reasons, but one of the things that I dislike is, as strange as it is, because it makes perfect sense. I dislike the idea that cold resist reduces cold length. Normally, I'm really a big fan of what I call carding or combining mechanics together, like a skill card. And of course, like web development also like does carding where links will be transformed into a card. So similar concept there. See, unique. Oh my goodness. I am scared. Can't even see him. But if you get cold duration reduction and you get frost resist, cold resist, then you get into the situation that you reduce the cold duration by like 95%, and you're taking, you know, a lot less damage and a lot of things there. Wow, you're obnoxiously annoying. Poison's the same way. If you have like a ton of poison resist, then you have this issue of ooh, purple bone shield. Fancy. You have the same issue basically is what I'm going with there. This means that once you have like enough poison resist, and if you have any form of poison length reduction, you then you literally are not being poisoned for very long, but the poison damage that is there is just completely pointless and doesn't last very long, and it's a really nice shield. It's a really nice shield. And so one of the code edits I want to do in the near future is to kind of cap this in some fashion. Ethereal 43. So either I'll remove entirely the cold duration reduction, or I'll cap it, where if you have cold duration reduction, you get the cold duration reduction, but if you have frost resist, you get the frost resist reduction. But not both. You just kind of get the bigger of the two, or just not have length reduction at all. I think length reduction makes sense as more of like a tenacity effect in like they call it status resistant in Dota. They call it tenacity in League of Legends. And yes, I played both games. I prefer Dota, but Dota players complain about this mechanic a lot, which is really funny to me because no MOBA should ever have this mechanic is a phrase I've seen more than once. And then, you know, League has had it since like really early on. And it works, in my opinion, it works really well in League. In my opinion, it does not work very well in Dota. It's weird. And then, are we allowed to talk about that game that doesn't exist yet? I think we are. Anyways, there's definitely some stuff in that game that also has duration reduction on it. And so like as a general stat, I think it kind of makes sense that you'd be resistant to a lot of effects at once instead of just a singular effect of duration at a time. Am I really just wearing? Oh yeah, 4 magic damage reduction. I'm definitely wearing that. And a door. We might actually beat the Durance. That'd be actually excellent. That means we've done Act 3 in 3 pieces, 2 pieces? I'd have to look. I'm not the fastest at this game, and my damage is very minimal due to the mod itself kind of reducing some stuff and changing stuff. But I'm also really tanky because nothing can apparently hit me. And I've reduced armor, so I don't know how that works. Speaking of not being hit, I just got hit really hard. So there you go. There's a well there. Oh, mana well. Stop stealing my health and die. There we go. Stupid vampires. I didn't actually want to pick that up, so I'm just going to assume it. I do want this one. Chainmail, chain gloves. We've got light gauntlets. That's good enough. Let's see. What else is there to talk about here? Talked about poison clouds on those guys in Act 2 specifically. Oh no, I can't. I don't fear lightning. Oh yeah, I'm going to be making probably more immunities in this game soon. I think ghosts should be generally not weak to physical, and in like later acts of the game, as well as specifically hell difficulty, enemies start gaining immunities and resistances pretty heavily. But I think it's an identifying factor issue. I'd rather it be an identifying factor for some enemies to be immune to things. That's really good. That is really good. But my 35% magic find. I'm actually surprised uniques aren't dropping like candy. They should be a 16% chance from every named enemy at 100% magic find. I lost my train of thought. It's been too long of a video at this point. I like the idea that these undead steal health. They are actually irritating because I don't kill them fast enough that they can actually steal health. That's not true when you get into later parts of the game. So I think it feels pretty good that they don't instantly die and then they steal my health, and I don't know. I think that's silly. I think it's fun. Ah, a lot of exploding dudes. Okay, fear is not okay. It kind of actually worked there because of the extra explosion. Fear's not very good when you're trying to do immolation arrow. Might be best to use immolation arrow with like an ice effect, which I do have now. But mana and health per kill. These are other things I wish I could modify, I guess. They're just completely random, but I've got mana per kill. That's not what I wanted to go into there. I've got mana per kill. I think mana per kill should be limited to certain types of enemies. So if an enemy has a resistance to leech, as many of the undead do, because their vital forces, their vital energies are missing because they're dead, so to say, or they're tainted because they're evil, something like that. It might be nice to have some of the on kill effects to be kind of prorated or multiplied against their leeching factor. Hey, I found a unique item after I was just complaining. See, I just had to complain. That was the issue. Gleam Scythe, 3 to light radius, 30 to mana, 50% extra gold, lightning damage, attack speed, enhanced damage. I just want to point out that this is absolutely insane. This is a level 13 item that does 43 damage. And then 8 extra lightning. Oh, because it's ethereal. See, now ethereal giving extra durability to weapons makes sense. I think the thing is that armor durability just doesn't matter enough. Even with my nerfs, it just doesn't matter enough. Because I could go use that sword until it broke, and it would just be disappointing more so than anything else. How much damage? Oh, I shot one too many arrows. I was gonna say, how much damage does he do? So I'm getting around like 1.1-ish health right now per second. It's good. It's not. It's a little game breaking, but it's not too shabby. But life and mana on kill, life less so, but mana on kill quickly devolves into there's just no granularity to it, and so you get 2 life on kill, and if you can kill things in one hit, I don't even need a safety portal. That waypoint's like right there. Then I'm making up the mana immediately from after the kill. I love the fact that even though I nerfed, even though I made a lot of stuff work differently, this stuff hurts. It's not one-shotting me or anything, but at least it's still threatening. I guess it's also a ratio of time to kill and what you're using to kill. And so if I'm using Immolation Arrow, it gets real broken real quick because maybe I can kill 5 enemies with Immolation Arrow. He just crit me? I think he just crit me with a melee attack. What is that? Ooh, resist fire. Beautiful. Oh, I have 5 stat points just sitting there. Dexterity. See, that felt good. I put 5 points into dexterity, and I jumped, what, like 3, 4, 5%? I don't know if that was like a 78 or if it was a 75. The numbers are hard to read here. Naturally, Immolation Arrow is good at killing bosses if you can kind of face tank them a little bit or walk them around. Super expensive, though. Fast enemies do not like to stand in this fire. Because why not? Or enchanted... Is that fire damage? I think it's fire damage. And lightning enchanted. Okay, there we go. Long battle bow. Short battle bow. I'm going to stick with the short. And a ring? You don't say. That's a really funny ring. Fire resist and fire damage. A little on the nose there, game. Another ring. Ugh. All resistance is 4. That's kind of good, actually. Oh no, he's mana burn, isn't he? That's great. I haven't fixed the mana burn bug. I need to probably go look at that. It's like... It's a hit shift issue where mana burn is technically a type of damage, and it shifts the damage by like 8 bits, so it's like 256 times too large. I think it's basically because they were, I don't know, something about health being in 256s, and so maybe they just shifted it twice by the same value. I don't know. Or they didn't realize they never shifted it down in some fashion first. I appreciate that these things do not just one-shot me, and that I can kind of run around, but I don't do enough damage to instantly kill them either. I can try. Obviously, if I had mana potions, I'd kill them a lot quicker, though. Mana. But yeah, mana burn was never intended to like burn your entire mana pool. But because of how strong mages were, I think they just decided never to fix it. Or they just didn't want to fix it either way. What's my chance to hit him? Oh my gosh, it's 57%. Okay. That hurt. That was... He just two-shotted me. Where's that lightning bolt I sold? Too bad I sold it. That is some damage. See? There's a good helmet. Mask of Equilibrium. A low roll on the helmet. Anything that is useful in here for me? No, not really. That has lightning resist, but it only has magic damage reduced by 1. But that might be what I do want to wear. Let's go to Immolation Arrow and do this again. I didn't pay attention to how much my experience bar went down there. I wonder if we can even kill this guy. Resistance of 15. Lightning resistance of 28. That's wrong, by the way. If I wanted to go more fire arrow, I'd go for the crossbow. If I wanted to go more immolation arrow, the battle bow is probably better. Oh, I have no potions. Whoops. Oh yeah, that probably shouldn't do like 70 damage. Just saying. Woof. He one-shotted me. He one-shotted me. That is next level there. Okay, let's see if we can manipulate you, buddy. I mean, if this is what it takes, this is what it takes. Not taking a lot of damage. He just doesn't know that he can hit me. It's like Firewall, but worse. Oh, come on. Did that last potion just fail? You press certain buttons in the wrong order, the buttons fail. Or the potions fail, I mean. Don't want to take any of those off, but he also one-shots me, so what do you do? Put mana stolen on here, I guess. Yeah, that works. I'm not cheesing, you're cheesing. I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody does this. And I missed. I'm also missing him, by the way. Like, I literally cannot hit him. So, that's really impressive, but it's because I haven't reduced his armor in any way, shape, or form, so. Of all the bosses, I don't think Mephisto should probably have high attack armor chance. High attack rating, probably, because he's a mage, and those should probably be hitting pretty regularly, but please hit him. We've almost got him. There we go. I mean, was it cheesy? Yes, it was. It was very cheesy. But I also don't want to spend forever on this run. Skewer of Krins. Oh, look at this. We've got like multiple swords here. What is this all about? Got a spike shield. Is it bad that this just like straight up makes me want to just play melee right now? Chance of open wounds, an attacker takes damage of 10. Just I don't know. It's just so good. And I hate the enhanced percent with the plus 10 flat. I hate that crap. I get why they do it. I just don't like it. War staff and large shield. Seriously though, that is like one of the best shields in the context of just like getting some open wounds. Like that cannot be like the worst shield ever, but it's one of the best on offense there. Obviously, like you wouldn't be wearing this at a high level if you were like a different kind of character. But you know, if you didn't care about the defense, that is fun. That is a fun item. Kind of like this one. This one's a fun item. Light radius and gold and lightning. They're all, you know, glimmery, right? It just happens to be ethereal too, which is funny. Angelic sickle. Okay, I haven't changed any. I haven't really adjusted set items, so that attack rating is broken. But it's also like a really low level thing. Anyways. And then, of course, Skewer of Krins, 10 strength, 10 dexterity, mana stolen per hit, ignores target defense, and enhanced damage. The ignores target defense is completely broken in the mod. So, yeah. But hey, went a little over on time. But we got to the bridge of death here, and we'll skip that. And we'll call it quits. Taking a break here, and we'll see you back the next time.